What's going on, my trainer club? Today we are going to check out the top tips to help you max out on this 3-hour Raikou window this Saturday. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone, and I know I have been getting you prepped and ready as far as the counters go and the excellent throws go for you to max out on Raikou, which I am super stoked about. Let me know in the comments, how many raids do you plan to do on Saturday? Because Raikou is going to be out for a 3-hour window from 4 to 7 p.m. on Saturday to be able to raid as much as possible. So pretty much every gym will have a Raikou raid, and I have seen a little bit of discrepancy as far as, do EX gyms get them? Do they not get them? So I've seen some EX gyms that do get them, and I've also seen some EX gyms that don't get them. So my theory is, and I'm pretty sure this is correct, that EX gyms that are active, meaning they have an EX raid that is coming up in the near future, will not be getting the raids, and then the ones that do not will get the raids. But I would suggest making sure to plan around these gyms anyway, because if you're not sure which ones are getting it and you kind of have to go a little bit out of your way to hit one gym to come back on, I would just say to plan on skipping it and put it in your route to be able to go to it if it is an option, or if it's easily on the way and you can just bypass it to get to the next gym. So that is my theory behind the EX gyms. I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate from doing this for quite a few times, but I just don't want you to go out of your way to see an EX gym and then you're like, there's no raid on it, because that's a little disappointing when you are on an efficient route. So we're gonna get into my top tips right now to help you max out on this event, because I want you guys to get as many of these shiny Raikou as possible, because number one, Raikou is an amazing electric attacker, the best in the game. He gets Shadow Ball, which I think is a super cool, super effective offset move, which is going to be the most difficult in the raids. And then 3, his shiny form is out for the first time, and we have 3 hours to do this. So this is your time to max out, get as many of those shiny Raikous as possible. So starting off with my number 1 tip, we're going to start off for the pre with my couple first tips, then we're going to go for the middle, and then we're going to finish off on the end with the post event to help you max out right now. So my number 1 tip is going to be, make sure to have your bags, passes, balls, everything that you need ready to go. So if you are going to be using bonuses, think about this, because we are going to be having 3 hours of raids on pretty much every gym in your entire city, town, wherever you're at. So if you want to do a lucky egg, maybe you're looking for XP, this would be a great time to do it. What I am going to do, because I don't want to do lucky eggs the entire time, I'm going to set up my best friends, ultra friends, great friends to all be popped right at the beginning of my raid day. So when I go in, I'm going to open those gifts, get that XP, and then I will be on to my way. So that's what I am going to do. I might even do it a few minutes beforehand, because this would be the most optimal time to open this, to get some XP, and then I'll raid for the 30 minutes and then I'll be done, because that amount of XP is super huge, which we're going to be coming out on a video with that very soon to help you guys really realize how powerful this gift game is in Pokemon Go. And then we also want to look at our bags. So we want to see how many raids we're going to be doing. Some of you guys have this planned out, some of you guys do not have this planned out. If you are a super efficient player and you're looking to plan all this stuff out on your route, you have all your gyms laid out, you know the map and kind of direction that you want to go, you are going to need to have all of your raid passes bought. So unfortunately, the boxes right now are under 100 coins per pass, which then recommends me not to recommend it to you to purchase if you're doing raids, because you're getting less than just buying the raid passes. I know it comes with some sweet bonuses, but you're not getting the 1-for-1 raid passes, so you're gonna have to spend more coins than you would if you just bought 1-for-1 raid passes. So have all of your raid passes bought, and I would just add a few in case you're like, maybe I think I'm gonna do 10, but you know, there's 2 extra or 3 extra, or maybe I'm gonna do 20, but there's a few extra that maybe if we have time, we can add on. I would just have all those passes bought up. We are going to be getting the 5 free raid passes as well, so make sure to take into account, so you have 5 free. I would go in with a free one from the day before, so don't raid on Friday. Go into Saturday with a free raid pass, so then you're going to be able to get 6, because you have 1 plus 5 that you're going to get the next day, and you can max out on this. So you have 6 free raid passes for the Raikou, and then whatever you need on top of that, make sure to add on. Prepared, because the last thing you want to do is be raiding, and you're plussing in the background with the Pokestops, you have the Pokemon being caught. The last thing you want to do is have a super full bag from raiding super hard, and then you have to go in there and slow down your lobby to start deleting items, maybe revives, maybe great balls, whatever it is. That's not what you want to do in the middle of a condensed raid day when you're trying to maximize. So have all of these passes bought, because then when items keep getting stacked on top, I know back in the day, I think I had like 2,500 items after a raid day. I didn't have to go in and delete any of that stuff because I already had my passes bought and I was ready for it. So that's why I'm suggesting this to you guys, to be able to help you maximize, because the items from the raids and the rewards will get stacked on top. You won't be able to spin Pokestops, but all the rewards will be getting stacked on top, and you can go over 2,000 as far as your items go, as long as it's coming from the rewards from the raids. So now we got that set up. The other thing we want to make sure is we have our bag cleared out. We do not want to have a Pokemon bag storage issue when we are going from timely, and then we have to jump into a raid. That is not what you want to do, because now when you go to put in, it's going to tell you your bag storage is full, then you're gonna have to back out. So I would suggest having at least 150 if you're using a plus in the background to be spinning stops and catching Pokemon, because it's going to be stacking Pokemon in there. So 150 spots I would say is pretty safe. If you're not doing that and you're only going for these Raikou, maybe like 30, 40, 50, I don't know, it depends where you like your bag at. I like to just be prepared, and I know that I need to go up and clean out a lot of this space. So what I'm doing is basically probably gonna have about 150 to 200 spots, and then whenever I have a break, we are going to then go ahead and clean out some of the Pokemon that I'm catching in the background that aren't working. So number two, with that means you're gonna have to have enough Pokeballs if you want to do this in the background, because I always suggest doing this. It's a great time to do this, to be having your Pokemon being caught, because it's basically free Stardust. Free Stardust in the background, so have enough Pokeballs to last you about a 3-hour window. I would say if you're able to spin the stops as well on the gyms and everything like that, maybe like 250 Pokeballs is a great place to be. Anything beyond that is amazing as well, but try to stay at that 250 so you can be catching the Pokemon in the background. Free Stardust. And then if you're going to be using lucky eggs, you can use incenses. You won't be able to see what you're getting. You can also use the star pieces, which is a cool thing to do, because you're going to get 1,000 Stardust per raid, which is 1,500. Let's say you do maybe 5 raids about in 30 minutes, maybe more, maybe less, but let's say 5. So 5 times 1,500, do you know what that's going to be? That is going to be 7,500 Stardust just from that, and that's not including what you're going in the background with the Pokemon. So that is a pretty good bonus for doing that. And then on to my tip number 3, we are looking at the WAFU rating style, and there's going to be a couple nuances that are going to help you max out on this. So WAFU is basically meaning speed rating. So what I would suggest doing is having a pretty good sized party. You want to have as many people as you can, either in your group walking or in your group car, so that you guys can take this down pretty efficiently. I would say to be safe, because you want to beat it down fast, because the faster you can beat it, the faster you can get to catching it, the faster you can get to the next one. I would say about a 7-person party going from raid to raid to raid with pretty good counters. If you want to check out my counter, guys, you go up here. We're looking at the ground Pokemon. So we are looking for that. We want to have our party set up. We want to have 2 parties set up. We want to have our dominant party set up in our game, and then we want to have a second party set up so that if our dominant party happens to die out, we can easily go and click that other one. The most efficient thing is party setup when you're trying to speed raid. Trust me, it is much more efficient to just swipe to the left, have your party set up, than having to go and set the party up every single time if you're not getting the counters that you want. So we have those 2 things set up. We're ready to go. Everybody's in the car. We have our raid map set up, meaning you know your gyms in your area. You know what the direction you're kind of trying to go in. And honestly, the less left turns you can make going across traffic to the left, if you can kind of keep things in this kind of like right flow, right, where you're kind of making just right turns and the occasional less traffic left turn, so you don't have to wait at lights or anything like that if you're really trying to max out, that is going to be the best thing for you guys. You want to absolutely do as many as you can, because we want to get these Raikous. We want to get good Raikous. So 1972 is the level 20, 100% IV, and then 2466 if you're getting blessed with that rainy weather and you have boosted, which is going to be awesome. That's going to lead me to my tip number 4. So we need to have people that are going to be dedicated to either running from Pokemon if you don't want to catch it if you have a bad one, or we have to have the first person that catches start the next lobby. So here's the strategy. When you go into the gym, right, you're going to start playing when you are about 150, 140, 130 seconds, if you have an efficient lobby, you know you guys aren't gonna die out. What you can start doing is walking to the next raid, or if you're in a car and you have a designated driver that's not playing, you can drive to the next raid as long as you don't faint out. If you faint out and you go back in, you will then glitch and you will be dropped from the raid. What you do if you do faint out is you do not go in and you let it count down, and that should work. I don't know for sure. I would rather have you guys be able to be still battling, because once you're battling and you're driving off or you're moving on to the next raid, you have about 80 kilometers before you can get back in around the raid in a circle. As soon as you go outside 80 kilometers and you try to rejoin a raid when you faint, it's gonna boot you. So the best thing to do is have your party set up, and if you're going to drive off or walk off, what you do, like let's say at 150 you already went through 4 Pokemon, you're gonna quit out one time, right? So it's gonna take you out of the gym lobby into the heal your party lobby. You're going to either heal your Pokemon or you're gonna get a new party, that second party that we talked about. Then you're gonna jump back in. So now you have a fresh 6 that you can go and you can get to the next raid with. This is the most efficient because then you're at the next raid. When you're done with this raid, whoever catches it first or runs, depending on how hardcore you want to be. So you either have the first person that catches will then start the next lobby. If you have a good one and you know that you're going to catch it, period, then you may have to sit out. But if you don't and you're like, okay, the first person started the lobby, 120 seconds, they'll announce it every 10 seconds, 100 seconds. At 50 or 55 about, you're gonna wanna quit out because you're gonna need some time for your Pokemon player to load the gym in the game, because if you went out of the basically radius that you can see, the gym won't load. So you have to take that into account when you're jumping out of the raid. You want that gym to load up. So this is what I would do. And then once you guys get in, everybody runs from that Raikou, obviously. And if it's a shiny, just give it a pineapple berry. You're gonna get that double candy on that guy with that free catch. So that is the WAFU style rating. That is the speed rating, the raid riding, whatever you want to call it. That's how we do it. And then on to my last tip. This is going to be the post event. I would suggest, and this is my most important, I'm sure some of you guys have some lucky friends right now, right? I would suggest having them reserve prematurely your shiny Raikou to trade shiny Raikou after this event or whenever you want to, because lucky shiny Raikou is going to be amazing. It's going to cost half the amount of Stardust to power up. It's a beast Pokemon, and it's definitely something that you want to have in your bag. So what I am going to do is I am going to have lucky shiny Raikou trades set up with my lucky friends, because I am not willing to trade a shiny to somebody if they're not a lucky friends. Number one, that's not a best friend, and number two, why would you re-roll the stats on a shiny that's not guaranteed to be better than what it is, right? I'm not saying to trade like if you found a 96 or maybe like a 91 and up shiny. I'm saying if you found like a 75 to 88, something that you wouldn't normally power up and it's a shiny, why not re-roll it? I mean, if it's an 88, you get an 88 lucky, you can power that 87% up, right? Because 88's not a percent, that's in between 87 and 89. You can power that 87% up for half the amount of Stardust if that's what you're desiring to do. So that's why I say to save them, save all those Raikous. They're super cool, they're not common, they haven't come back to raids, they've only been out in raids one time, research box, and now we have this raid hour, so I'm sure at some point they may come back, but I don't know when. So you might as well save it up, use these Raikous, and then trade them to people so you can try to get a lucky Raikou once a day with your special trade. All right, everyone, that is going to do it. I super appreciate all you guys being a part of the Trainer Club. Just have everything prepped, be ready, have your battery packs ready to go, have your snacks ready to go, have your route planned out, have your bag cleaned out, have your Pokeball stacked up, have your event timers. If you're doing eggs, you can have those timers on to max out, to make sure to remind yourself to set the lucky egg every 30 minutes. And of course, have the most amount of fun that you can possibly have. Whatever's fun to you, use that. You can take some of these tips that I'm giving you and you're like, dude, I don't want to do 25 raids. I want to do 5. Amazing, amazing. Do 5 raids. That's all that matters, is that you have fun. I'm just trying to help you be efficient while you have fun so that you can get more of what you want. So I just want to say thank you for tuning into the Trainer Club, and thank you for everybody that supports me on Patreon, and I will see you guys out on the next video. Peace.